Guys, another Adonis review. Today I will be doing Atomic Heart, which is a recent game. It came out, I believe, in the past 2 or 3 months. I feel like there's been a lot of up and down reviews and thoughts on this game, of some being positive and negative. Not a very clear consensus. I feel like this game has gotten a lot of hype in the beginning, graphically wise, because it, of course, is a stunning game, as you can see. The graphics are at a very high level, and apparently on PC, it is truly something to blow your mind right out of that skull. But beyond that, I've also gotten a lot of feedback, review wise, that people think gameplay and things of that nature are kind of old, played out, stale, which I don't agree with. So I'll kind of explain my thoughts on this game and, let you know if it's something that might be worth playing on your side. Now, first off, this game, as of right now, I believe is free to play on Xbox Game Pass. So you don't have to pay any money to play it if you have that, so that's always a nice thing to know. But I'll quickly go over what the game's about and kind of the highs and lows of it. So first off, the game takes place in like a futuristic Bioshock type of Russia, where I don't know, maybe they won World War II. I don't know exactly, but basically like they're kind of like the reigning country, and probably like in a 1950s era where they've kind of advanced in technology, and they're kind of like a utopia land, floating above Russia right now. In the beginning, that's kind of where you start off. And obviously, robots and everything have kind of taken over in the sense of helping humanity and doing everything so people can work less and relax and whatnot. And then basically the game dives into the pretty classic trope that the robots go crazy and essentially are killing people and, just going haywire. Kind of like that Mandalorian episode with, Jack Black and Lizzo. What a random collaboration that was. But anyways, it obviously you're kind of the main badass guy who's going to stop all this chaos and save the world, and you're the only one who can do it. Which leads you on a journey across this utopian Russia of the future taking place in the past to fucking save it. Now, again, this game has gone a lot of resemblance to Bioshock, and I can kind of see that. You are kind of in a world, again, like we were in that floating sky city, disconnected utopia, where obviously under the surface is a lot of weird, bad things going on, and you have powers as well. The gameplay is pretty cool. You get guns, obviously, which you're able to upgrade with attachments based off finding, stuff around the world, and you also get powers. It's not as many as it would maybe make you think if you've never played it, or even tested it. You do kind of looks like you get like a wide variety of elements, but it mainly kind of breaks down to gravity type of power. Electricity is kind of like a main power that you always kind of have, but it's not really that strong. It's more of a kind of like tasing people for a second. And you also got like an ice freezing power, and like a goo power, but whatever. And that's kind of the main basis of it, which of course is also kind of like a Bioshock type of thing as well. So anyways, beyond that point, let's go into the highs and lows. So, highs of this game, right, obviously graphically wise, it's very good, and the better system you have and better components and everything, the better it's going to look, which is always a plus. The story is pretty straightforward. You might be thinking, I kind of thought when I saw the game that it would be a pretty wide open world type-ish game that would have, countless hours, but this is definitely more of a story driven, 15 to maybe 20 hours of gameplay, maybe you go a little bit more, but it's a pretty standard game length nowadays. It does kind of present an open world type of game, where you kind of can go around the map and kind of do things as you wish. But overall, is kind of linear with decisions makings. There's also, I've read a few things that talk about it having, like which side mission is the best for this, which is basically kind of a lie. There's not really any side missions for it. There's even lists that say like, oh, what are the best side missions fucking in Atomic Heart? Like, there aren't side missions, so I don't know why I fucking said that. And that was kind of one of the things that confused me at first. Was like, how do I find a side mission, or how do I know what a side mission is? Like, am I just doing story missions right now? Like, or what is this? But basically, there is just like the main story and the main missions with that, and then there's also like these like bases, kind of like a dungeon of sorts, where there's like, I don't know, 9 of them. It's kind of weird they have it set up because they like have like base numbers, but like 3 or 4 bases don't exist. They're not there, so like you can't do them. So you're like, okay, well I need to do base 4 or whatever, but it's like not there. They don't really tell you that, but whatever. You'll see all the bases on the map if you look at it, and there's basically those dungeons you can do, which I guess you could call a side mission, and then there's just the main story, and that's basically the activities you have. So again, it's not as long as it could be, or as long as you would think it would be, because it kind of makes you think there could be side missions when that's not really the case. There's just kind of the main objective and the dungeons. But beyond that, the game is fun, the story is good, the side missions, or dungeons are repetitive, and they're not that exciting or different. It's not like you get to meet somebody with a quirky past and do cool things. But they kind of have their own niche to them. They have like little puzzles, and each one's kind of different, and you have to kind of be clever. Some of them had to be stumped sometimes. I'm like, what the fuck do they want me to do here? Like, I have no idea how to complete this. So they actually do give you, with each little different dungeon, kind of like a puzzle in a different way you have to complete it that is unique, even so it is kind of repetitive in the way that they shape it. And just with that being as well, the main story mode, I feel like the general things you have to do and the way the kind of levels change as you go along the story are also pretty unique and interesting as well. I felt like the game definitely ended too early in my mind, where I was hoping there would be more, because it was kind of interesting on the way it was leading and kind of abrupt, because it's like right when you start getting really into it and kind of really getting your hold to it, you're kind of reaching the end. At least that's how it felt for me. But beyond that, I mean, overall, I think it's a great game. I think if you're looking forward to something that is, again, like a straightforward story mode campaign, it's not like 100-hour fucking open world game, and you just kind of want to get in there. But again, it has a little bit more meat to it than a typical story game nowadays, I feel. I mean, I guess most story mode games are kind of raising the bar to around 15 to 25 hours. It's pretty typical, where obviously in the past it would be like, like during The Last of Us 1 times, like having a 14-hour story mode was like nice. Like that was pretty long. And now that's becoming the past, and 20 hours is pretty much the average. So I guess it's just kind of an average length story game. Even so, I kind of hoped it was more by the way I was enjoying it, and I think that's a good cause for it. If I was hoping for more because I enjoyed it so much, I think most people could enjoy this. So if you like story modes, I've seen negative reviews on this saying that the gunplay is kind of shoddy, and the mechanics that way don't work that great, but I disagree. I think the gunplay is good. I think there's a well-built average where you can use everything. When you get melee weapons, your elemental powers, and you get guns that you can craft and upgrade and get better parts if you complete the dungeons. Like, the dungeons are truly an awarding thing. If you complete the dungeons, you get these parts that you couldn't get otherwise to make your guns better and stronger and have different things. You can add elements to your guns. Like, everything works pretty well, and when you get into it, it all becomes pretty straightforward, and you know exactly what you need to do, and it's like fun to do it and kind of like line up how you're going to complete the game. There's not any real big negatives I can think of when it comes to the game, beyond the fact that maybe I wish it was a little bit longer, or maybe they did have a few side missions in here sprinkled throughout. But if you're looking for a straightforward story mission game, I guess another negative thing they've said is like the acting right is pretty subpar and boring. But like what? Who the fuck cares, right? Like yeah, having the Geralt of the Witcher type of stories and side missions. But like I said, the story overall was still pretty entertaining, and the way it was built was pretty well done. So I think for a Game Pass game that's free, it's definitely worth doing. I think even with that not being said, if you have to pay money for it, if it was gone, or if it's gone by the time you watch this, this game's definitely worth $20. Maybe $15 on sale, which is probably pretty likely because, like I said, I feel like the comments of this game haven't been like stellar enough where it's going to hold value for forever. So if you can find it for $15, which is probably highly likely in the near future, I'd definitely get it. I think this game is worth easily $25. In a year or two from now, when the value should go down, I think $25 is a fair price. I think you can get $25 out of this game. It's a good game, good experience, good graphics. I feel like you get what you pay for, and it's not going to hold bars for forever. You'll forget about it, not too long after, but it won't be a negative thought. I feel like when you recommend it to someone else, you might recommend based off the fact that you enjoyed it and you thought it was good. So, again, maybe it's not the first game you should play and buy, when it comes to being the greatest games on earth, but it is a good game, and I think you'll enjoy it overall. So I say if you have the chance to play it and you have some time, I'd give it a whirl. If you do end up playing and liking it, let me know. Later, guys.